female gooners must be stopped. So naturally, the title alone has me intrigued. I am intrigued. I am legit curious what she is quantifying as female gooners. Will it break me? All right. If it breaks me, I get broken. I'm here for it. Are we ready? Are we ready for this? Let's go!
Oh, I didn't see you there. What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or BookTok, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women, in particular, have been raving about this piece of literature.
Wait, Shu? I'm already edged right now. I want to know what it is. And I want to know, is this going to be the next fucking 50 Shades of Grey? Because, bear in mind, this was the response that 50 Shades of Grey got when it first came out. And we all know how rapidly that got fucking destroyed. After once more people actually started like looking into 50 Shades of Grey. I fucking destroyed it. Not because of content, but because E.L. James is one of the most dog shit writers I've ever had the misfortune of landing my eyeballs on. So, are we about to do another 50 Shades of Grey? Let's find out.
What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
What? I'm sorry, fucking what? Yeah. This is literally the plot of a fucking doujin. This is a fucking hentai. I will guarantee you that there is hentai out there that have been out there for years that is this exact plot. I will guarantee you. But because it has an artsy cover and is not anime, women are like, oh, it's so hot. Like, I don't have an objection to the content. Like, this girl jerks off monsters, particularly a minotaur. It's like, okay, it's your smut. It's obviously fantasy land. It's enjoy your smut. It's not my bag, but fuck it, I don't care. But let's not pretend like this shit is not new. Anime and doujins have been doing this for fucking decades, alright? Crimson? No, you have to admit this. This shit has been getting done in hentai for decades. Okay? It has. It has been done for decades. Don't try to pretend it doesn't exist. And I'm not ragging on anybody that enjoys that hentai. You say, it's fantasy. It's not like actual bestiality. This is all fantasy. You do you, but let's not pretend like this is anything new. This has been in existence in the hentai space for years. Okay?
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on this, because it is so good.
Oh my god! I
love hentai.
Cheer 160.
This is true. And I will admit to some curiosity. I will admit to some curiosity. Oh yes, thank you, Gore. Like, I'm actually more curious if it's well written. Like, you guys know, I have no issue with smut. I have no issue with flat out porn novels. You know I have no issue with that. My one thought is this actually well written? Will she write? Okay, so read some of the lines. Okay, good. Then that can give me a good idea of the writing quality. Because I'm gonna tell you something. That was the biggest fucking issue I had with E.L. James. The biggest issue I had with her was not the content. Well, at least not until later, because I've heard stories about how the story progresses and the way she portrays Christian Grey later in the books, which is he's a fucking psychopath, but I didn't get that far. The biggest issue I had was that E.L. James is an actual shit writer. And that's why I couldn't get through it, because her writing is absolutely atrocious. And that's what I'm curious about right now is the writing actually good?
Inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners. Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their—
Wait, hang on. I want to see some of those titles. Let's see. Am I familiar with any of these? No. Okay. I will admit, I'm intrigued.
Play their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shoo, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious.
Okay, Shoo, stop. Shoo, do not disservice yourself like that. Shoo is easily an 8 or a 9. Shoo is gorgeous. Okay? Shoo, don't let anyone tell you any different. You are gorgeous, Queen. You are absolutely gorgeous, and let no one tell you different.
Magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's—
not exactly. I like porn. I like my both hentai and regular just as much as I like my written word porn. I am an equal opportunity porn consumer. Thank you very much. I will consume it in video and written format, both, so long as it's good. How many of you have read Anne Rice's The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty series?
I'm not ashamed of it. I love hentai.
Oh, steady. Certainly. There is plenty of great smut out there in the written word that I have read. There's The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. What was it? Oh God, I blanked on the name. I blanked on the author's name. For fuck's sake, E.L. James, although her work was atrocious. For fuck's sake, I've written it. For God's sake, my Ember Doyle series is half porn. Like, my Ember Doyle series is, like, literally about a literal sex witch. I write this stuff. So yeah, I'm good with both the visual and written porn. I'm good with both.
It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance.
Yes, Moss. That's what I was thinking. Her name went right out. I had Laurel K. Hamilton, who was actually my whose works it actually inspired me to write my Ember Doyle series. Yes, vampires, werewolves. She has BDSM in there. It's a grand old fucking time. Dragon Trucker, you don't have to dig hard. The link to all my books is in the About section, and Tanashi would just kindly put it in the chat.
Convention that ended in disaster. Let's take a break from all this depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, they are. You should be keeping up with politics and the news when you can. I know it can be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. So before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to our sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides.
I can never be stopped. Don't you know this yet?
One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political aisle and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Gavin Newsom is signing a bill to give 800,000 Uber and Lyft drivers in California the right to unionize. Pretty cool. Rare Newsom W. 12 news sources covered this, 7 were left-wing and 0 were right-wing, because the right is covering a far more important topic. Harvard hires drag performer Lahore
Oh my god!
as a visiting professor. 21 news sources covered this, 20 were right-wing, 1 was left-wing. A country divided.
Fucking god.
Truly. Ground News also makes it very easy to compare headlines, so you can see how political bias completely reframes a story.
Well, okay, scary guy, to your question. Do authors goon to their own work? Speaking for myself, was I gooning when I was writing my Ember Doyle series? No, I wasn't gooning. Were some of the things that I'm writing, were they written because they are like a turn on? Yes. Yes, some parts, like particularly the sexy parts, when I wrote them, yes, I wrote them because they are turn-ons for me. And because it was like, I kind of put, the book is written in first person, so I kind of sort of put myself into the position of the protagonist of the book. And so it's like, when there's the sexy time stuff, it's like putting myself into that position. It's like, how would I react in that kind of situation? So to a degree, yes, I kind of do. Nguyen? Yes. That's all I'll say. You need to read the books. I don't want to give spoilers to my own stuff. Read the books. They are very. I've actually tried to keep the prices on them very low. And if you get Kindle Unlimited, if any of you guys have, I think it comes with Amazon Prime in the US. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read them for free.
When writing her books because she can't type with one hand.
Gray matter. I can cross them and cross my legs, Now I'm not going to do a reading stream. No. Maybe if Cotton decides to read one of my books on stream, I could go with it, but I am not a voice actor. I can't read my books on stream. No, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. But yes, if any of you guys have Kindle Unlimited, which I believe is free with Prime unless they've changed it, every single one of my books is free via Kindle Unlimited. And no, they are not in. I have not done any of them. Made any of them audiobooks, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
For example, talking about how Trump has been posting a bunch of those sombrero memes, and the New York Post says, White House official behind Trump's hilarious meme war on Dems revealed. And then a left-wing outlet covers the same story, like, as the shutdown continues, a checked-out Trump posts childish memes. Wildly different vibes going on here. I've been using Ground News since 2021. It is one of my favorite apps. Like, it is my go-to, like, when I wake up. I, like, check Twitter, and then I check Ground News, like, immediately. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. And it's only $5 a month,
Good night,
which is like
Mars.
basically the price of a coffee nowadays. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? So let's get back to the video. Book Talk is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop.
Yeah.
Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean?
Oh, no.
It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, this is why I said it's not about the horniness of the book, it's how well written is the fucking thing. I'm gonna keep coming back to this, but 50 Shades of Grey is a quote-unquote spicy book. But it's written like absolute shit. E.L. James's capability as a writer is absolute dog shit. She can put all the sexy scenes that she wants into it. If she's constantly talking about her inner fucking goddess doing a jig, it's gonna be annoying as fuck and I'm not gonna read it. If you're gonna put your setting in modern day and come up with these fucking sci-fi fucking pieces of technology that don't even exist, I'm not gonna get into it. So like for me, that's more important than spice. Is the damn thing well written?
Spicy is the book they're currently reading. Spice, Spice, Spice. The spiciest book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and—
Oh my sweet fuck. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, already, no. Down on her luck millennial. No, you've immediately just turned me away by saying, oh, she's a typical down on her luck millennial, which means what? She's gonna be a reading fucking cunt to the bitches about everything?
drowning in debt. Oh my god! She's just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch.
Look at how big this thing is. Look at how big this thing is. Dear God. For fuck's sake, Wolfie, God damn it.
The clientele is grade A certified prime beef.
Oh, God.
With the manly, meaty endowments to— okay.
Morning Glory.
Wait, hold up. Okay, I can already tell I would fucking hate this book. Not because of the content, I can already tell by this back cover blurb that the writing is going to be absolute dog shit. Vespasian, you can confirm for me if you want, if you read like a blurb out of it or something. You don't have to actually put it. This descriptor on the back cover alone tells me that the writing of this is going to be absolute dog shit. This is, that this basically was probably written by a fucking millennial that has a degree in gender studies or a Yibli Arts degree or something, and just went, I want to publish a smutty novel, and it's probably written like absolute shit.
Oh God, with the manly, meaty endowments to okay.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
Oh my. This cannot be a legit review. No fucking way. No fucking way. Is this possibly a legit a person's legit fucking review? This has gotta be a meme. This has got to be a fucking meme. If this is not a meme, oh dear fucking God in heaven.
This is every fucking BreadTube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie. The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males.
What?
And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here, like, selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more
So you're telling me there's a chance?
So jerking off a centaur is fine, but when I do it they start yelling, "Stop jerking off my horse or I'll call the police."
Well, Faggy, if you're gonna do it, you have to do it in a sanctioned way. I mean, let's be honest, like, jerking off horses is a legit thing in the horse racing industry. And in the breeding industry, it is a thing.
I'm a goddamn robot, and this is making my brain hurt. What the actual fuck is wrong with these reviewers?
GLaDOS? Send the portal gun. I think it's time for a test.
Dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote.
Oh, God.
The seam of his sack. So I'm reading this, and the whole time I'm thinking, like, okay, he probably has, like, a human.
Oh, my God. Yeah. This was written by a millennial gender studies or liberal arts major that thinks she's being deep and sexy. Oh, dear fucking God.
Head, right? He probably, like, looks something like this. Like, you know, just a dude with, like, horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow. Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight-up cow.
Yeah, shoo. That's what a minotaur is. What you had on the screen earlier is some kind of that's more like a satyr versus a minotaur. A minotaur is literally cow upper body. A minotaur is literally a bipedal cow with human hands. That's a minotaur. Shoo, you really need to get into your D&D lore a little bit more to not have this kind of reaction. Seriously, like, minotaurs have been around for decades. This is not new.
In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing this shit and you're just like, That's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also...
Yeah.
F***ers his ass. She...
It's... Oh my god, was she literally trying to hit his prostate? Oh my god, if she's milking this thing... If she's jerking it off to try and milk it, she was probably trying to hit his prostate. Which is a legit thing. I mean, that's like it in sex. Yeah, hitting. For God's sake. This is a big boy. God damn it. I like it. Give me big boy. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes, like, so, and yes, some guys are into it. Some guys are into girls or other guys milking their prostates. That is a legit thing, but she's talking about doing it to a fucking Minotaur. She had to actually go up under his tail. And let's be real here. This is a Minotaur. He's probably not all that fucking clean. Okay? There's, like, coarse hair down there that is known to probably... Well, it's not going to be clean. Let me put it that way.
He f***ers the cow's ass. By the way, if you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about s***ing and f***ing and f***ing a cow's ass. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway, I like how in this fantasy world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans. Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that means, like, you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced.
Oh, for God's sake, this bitch tried to do an urban fantasy setting, but she wanted to throw in all of the standard human tropes. Oh, he's divorced because his mate broke his heart, so now the main character has to mend his poor broken heart. Amongst other things. Oh, God!
This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife. The lore is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you. When the bill arrived, she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Because, of course, the millennial-ass, dumbass writer had to make her main character a fucking feminist. In her Minotaur porn novel, the main character had to be a fucking feminist. Fuck me.
She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to—
These books are psychologically damaging to women, especially young teens. I dropped a link in the Discord.
I know now, but it's also poor-ass fucking writing. Within 2 paragraphs, she mentioned the wristlet twice.
Crazy bitch fucking a Minotaur? Say what?
No, that's not my focus. I'm looking at the poor-ass writing. Look at this. Pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet, and then 2 paragraphs later, she'd come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips, smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. She's repeating herself. She's repeating her phrasing. And because this word for what she loves this word wristlet. And so she's this is the sign of a shit writer when they do this level of repeating.
To pay half the other night and shouldn't have Violet, if the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her. the heat of his hand dropping to her knee would've. I don't want you to feel like- I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be-
Pulling out the buzzwords. She's pulling out, but I don't want you to feel like you don't have agency here. Feminism, agency, pulling out all the fucking DEI buzz. Oh, and again, down here, she's repeating it fucking again. Repeating that, so we're seeing, yeah, this is the sign of a shit writer, doing consistent repeating, only 2 paragraphs apart, with either words that have, like, I fully appreciate there are some words where it's, for lack of a better word, they just, like, you say a word and it has, like, this just feel when you say it. There's, like, you like the way the word feels when you say it. It's like a tasty word for lack of a better descriptive. I understand that, and my suspicion is wristlet is one of those words that when she says it, it has a good feel when she says it. So that's why she's repeating. But then you've got the DEI repetition of feminism. Again, repetition of feminism, the DEI buzzword bullshit.
One giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no, you can say you don't want to see me again. You can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. She was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a
I want one. I want one. Sam!
Put it in my mouth.
No! No!
Put it in my mouth, Chad.
No! Absolutely not! No! Scary guy, the Minotaur has a job of just basically busting a nut. That is the Minotaur's job, because apparently Minotaur seed makes fantastic fucking Viagra for human beings in this fictional world. And... oh, my fucking god, this last one. If he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Dear fucking god! So she's DEI, but horny. She's horny DEI. Oh my dear fucking god!
shred of hesitation. Inside every woman, there are 2 wolves. Or 2 bulls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a lawn chair and instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Chat. Do you know how I get during certain particular reacts? That's her right now. Reading that passage from the book. That's her. Right now. And again, I need to preface, or not preface, but I need to reiterate. I don't have an objection regarding the content of the story. I don't have any objection to the story being about a woman fucking a minotaur in a fictional setting. I don't. Because again, this shit has been in hentai for decades. Alright? Let us not fuck with it. This shit has been in hentai and has been in doujin and is quite popular, and it has been for decades. It is not the content that I have a problem with. At all. Good night, Desdar. Yeah, it's not the content that I have any problem for whatsoever. It's the shit writing.
It was terrible.
Yes. It's the shit writing that I have the problem with. This woman clearly is a shit writer. That's where I have the problem. Not the content. You want to write about a book about a woman that's hot that gets soaking wet every time she sees giant minotaur cock and would either love to just gobble it down or bounce on it, Dio. Fine. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. As I said, it is nothing new. It's absolutely nothing new. But the writing, the ability of this person to write the story is shit. That's where I've got the problem, is her writing. Her writing is nonsense. Well, Sketty, read my books. Read my books.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what I thought of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book has a 4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000 ratings.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hang on. I need to check something. Hang on. Just give me a second. Give me a second. All right, since we're gonna go comparisons. Since we're gonna do comparisons, I don't have as many ratings on this one, unfortunately, but all right, so 4.1. Okay, 4.1 on Amazon. All right, I don't have as many reviews on this particular one, I'm afraid, but notice the ratings on mine. This is my urban fantasy one. This is about, you know, this is about the sex witch. 4.6. Rated, not many ratings. You want one with high ratings? Okay, I'll give you one with a lot of ratings. First book ever published. 4.6, 262 ratings. 4.6 on Goodreads. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Let's just read some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time. Sweet and creamy. The spice is spicing.
Oh,
I was very
God.
leery of starting this because I thought it was just going to be porn. The plot is pretty good. The plot? Please. This is like the new...
What?
I read Playboy for the articles. Like, sure you do. This book could kill a Victorian child. 5 stars. I'll never look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star. Not a help.
Wait. Oh my God, so how many of these 5 stars are trolling?
So...
How many of these 4 and 5 stars are trolling? Is my question. It's got a 4.1, but how many of them are real reviews?
That happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star, not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow, and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star, accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Lesai. Why can't human males be more like this?
It's
Tall,
fuck's
rich,
sake.
and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot tall creature from Greek mythology with a 13-inch dick. I never want to hear from another person about how they read 100 books in a year if this is the kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald, man detected, this isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back to Barely Legal Babysitter 5 or whatever the f you watch that is so morally superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like, and I intend to fully enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what freedom looks like, I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie. Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn, we are going to make 2020 look like a picnic, okay? Bullcock matters. Oh my God.
God, shoot, you're killing me. Fucking God, you're killing me.
Edit that out. Editor.
No, keep it in.
Women are going to be picking up Animal Farm now.
Praise Senator.
Where's the horse cock? Some of you people owe a certain streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy. Mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves
oh my
and
God.
Whipped cream.
By the way, I want you all to take note of something in a lot of these novel covers. Okay? For a moment, ignore the non-humans. Ignore the non-humans for a moment.
Summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy. Mane of my existence.
Oh, yeah, this is supposed to be a male orc. This is the face of a male orc. Is it?
Mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster.
Dear fucking God.
The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons.
Okay, oh my sweet fuck. Oh my sweet fuck. Chat, are you seeing what I'm saying right now? Are you seeing what I'm fucking seeing right now? No, not simply that. This person did the fucking Cameron Diaz come here. This person literally did the Cameron Diaz come here from that one Ben Stiller movie, Something About Mary. She literally did her protagonist with the Something About Mary come here. Oh my dear fucking God. I legit think that either the artist she commissioned or she herself, if she did this cover art, literally used Cameron Diaz from Something About Mary as the template. As the fucking template. I guarantee it.
Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gate.
Notice how many of the female protagonists in these bestiality type smut novels are heavy. Yeah, a lot of them are fit and not with a double C.
gator mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose.
What small print, Tesla? Which small print were you talking about, Tesla?
The gargoyle and the summoned a
Hang
demon
on.
boyfriend. That time I got
No.
drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast.
No.
Cupcakes for my
And
orc
we
enemy.
used to be
No.
called degenerate for this stuff years ago. My how times have changed. Hypocrites.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god. What is this creatures and coding? Book 1. Oh god. Oh god, I don't
of
want
my
to know.
existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something.
Yeah, oh, you talked about How I Met My Monster, Tesla? Yeah, so this is probably a series by this Sarah Ivy Hill. It's probably the How I Met My Monster series.
About dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager.
And again, thick, making so many of the protagonists plump, because yeah, when we read a romance novel, romance or even smut novels are just like Hollywood and video games. You want the people in them to be beautiful. Because again, the purpose of a novel is an escape from reality. It's not I want to identify with the protagonist. It's I want beautiful people in my fiction because I want to get away from my life.
So is this author into zoophilia?
This is multiple authors, E4. This is not all by the same person. This is multiple different authors. These are the books that Shu said was recommended to her after having ordered the Minotaur funding book. Oh yes, Cortez, I'm very aware that these are all self-inserts. I am highly aware that these are all self-inserts.
Wolves and whipped cream.
This one especially, holy fuck. This is our protagonist. Holy fuck. Fucking massively overweight, tatted up, with the attempt at rogue hair. Dear fucking God.
The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce. Oh, what? Are these the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washer machine again. Women on TikTok are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok. Bestselling romantic.
Who was that? Author from Jezebel, shocking. Noted and discarded. Fuck off, woman.
Best-selling romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, BookTok has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books. Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these...
Okay. Hold up. Wait a minute. Love for this author to kindly point out to me the men clutching their pearls about women enjoying sexy smut books. Please, point out these pearl-clutching men. Are they in the room with us right now? 'Cause I haven't heard a fucking thing about any man who has a problem with a woman reading a smutty novel. Not one. In fact, I'd say many men are probably fine with their women reading a smutty novel, because what do you think that's going to do for them? It's going to get the engines of their wives revved up, and they're going to get all turned on reading these sex novels, and then they're going to look at their husband and go, dead now. So, yeah, I'm calling
So that was a fucking lie.
About that. Well, Nux is what? Nux is what? Okay, Nux is very traditional. He's very traditional in his thought process, and if that's the way he chooses to live his life in his relationship, and if he's against porn, fine. That is his choice. That he's against porn, doesn't like smut, none of that. Fine. That's how he wants to live his life. That is one. Uno. It's one that I've seen. I have not heard of any other men that have been broadcasting how they are so deeply against women reading smutty novels.
Men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are...
Because they're not. Because they're not shocked by the sex itself. Alright, let me hear this bitch rabble on some more.
Gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire, scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine," but his astonishment in itself is astonishing.
Back in high school, my first ex-girlfriend gave smut book. Pirates kidnapped a girl. I found it good.
Sounds hot. That sounds hot.
What do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up. Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? It's funny. Are we really going to pretend that...
Nina, no, I would not say so. Most of the women reading smut, I don't think there is most are single or in a relationship or even married. I don't think it's that metric. Most of the women reading smut enjoy their smut. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like guys enjoying porn. Even guys in relationships will still watch porn. The thing is, it's a different methodology. Men will watch porn because men primarily are visual creatures. They like to actually see the porn in display on a screen or something. They like to actually see the porn taking place. Women are more cerebral, and so they much prefer reading their porn and then their imaginations coming up with the picture. So that's basically the difference. It's men have the hub, women have the books. Now, I'm not blanket stating every man and every woman. I'm just speaking in a broad generalization, is that men prefer to see it on the screen, women prefer to read it in a book and let their minds come up with the visuals. That's all it is. Yeah, and Mosley, Laurel K. Hamilton, well, the thing is, Laurel K. Hamilton's book are not smut. They have sex in it. Laurel K. Hamilton does not shy away from sex, but Laurel K. Hamilton uses sex as a means to further the plot in a way that actually makes sense. Laurel K. Hamilton's books are first and foremost typically they're mysteries, because Anita Blake, well, at least Anita Blake's character and Meredith Gentry, they are basically, they're kind of like detective novels, but sex is an integral part of the vampire and werewolf cultures. So, and she doesn't shy away from that. And so the sex is sort of integrated into the stories, into her relationships, while at the same time it is also a detective story, effectively speaking. And she's able to marry the two concepts together really well. So, Moss, I think you might like the Meredith Gentry series. I haven't read, I've read like the first, I want to say it's 4 or 5 Meredith Gentry series books. It's a good series. It is a good series.
A story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny. It's funny. If that makes me a sexist or misogynist, you got me. To act like you are so different and above the other gooners is just, it's silly. I'm sorry, but you are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12. You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these...
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. It's men and women have different means of consuming their porn. Men like it on screen, women prefer cooking it up in their minds by reading it on the page. It's the same concept, different methodologies. That's it. No, E4, it's not wrong that she likes smut books. And again, when I said like men like it on the screen, women prefer reading it to create it in their minds, that's just a generalization. It does not encompass everybody. There are plenty of women who like watching porn on the screen, and there are plenty of men who like reading porn. There are plenty. There's absolutely nothing wrong with liking one or the other or both. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there's much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered nodding, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides. Oh, yeah. Honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know what nodding is. What are these women reading?
The fact that the fact that someone has actually come up with a term for porn books where this happens. Oh God. Oh fuck.
Bro, what happened to that like stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer boy? What happened to that? We used to make fun of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone. Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls. I remember when 50
Oh, she's about to say it. Hang on.
Asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls. I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least...
Okay, I'm gonna slightly disagree because 50 Shades of Grey was actually about a fucking psychopath that actually took a girl and basically brought her into an extremely abusive fucking relationship. The joke has been made before, and I'll say it again. 50 Shades of Grey only works because Christian Grey was a fucking millionaire. If Christian Grey was a middle-class plumber, it'd be an episode of Criminal fucking Minds. 50 Shades only works because Christian Grey is rich and handsome. That's the only reason why 50 Shades of Grey worked. The only fucking reason. People were not attracted to the kinky sex. Women were not attracted to the kinky sex. Women were attracted to the fact that Christian Grey was a fucking millionaire and he took this poor college student girl and basically lavished his millions upon her, and she basically traded those millions for supposedly kinky BDSM sex, although it's E.L. James, she doesn't know what BDSM is.
Said it before and I'll say it again. 50 Shades is Twilight without the supernatural elements and works.
Yes, it is, Leo. I mean, yes, 50 Shades of Grey is literally Twilight fan fiction, but that, not hyperbole. 50 Shades of Grey was originally a fan section written by E.L. James called Masters of the Universe, which she then changed into 50 Shades of Grey. So yes, it is literally a Twilight fan fiction. Non-hyperbole, literally, a Twilight fan fiction.
Reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a f***ing dog! You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like, going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home.
No, it was a joke, Silver. This is, she originally wrote, it was like a short story version of it, called Masters of the Universe, which was literally a Twilight fan fiction. E.L. James wrote Masters of the Universe as a literal Twilight fan fiction. It was a short story, and I guess, like, people gassed her up, and so she actually turned it into a full-blown novel, and that was 50 Shades of Grey. So yes, it was literally based off of Twilight. That was the basis for 50 Shades of Grey, was Stephenie Meyers' Twilight.
She's not like those other girls, like, going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book, except that book is about f***ing a half-man, half-bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least...
Heed it. Soda. Shit, why you dogging on my boy Cthulhu? Seriously, what did Cthulhu ever do? Don't go dogging on my boy Cthulhu. Okay, Cthulhu got some moves. Cthulhu knows what to do with all those mouth tentacles, okay? I'm just saying. Between the tentacles and the mindfuckery, Cthulhu got it going on. He can take you for a fucking ride.
100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with roleplay. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well,
oh no.
You get Sinners and Stardust.
Oh no. Oh. You ever been to bed? Okay, that's a Wendigo.
Eyes wide shut is going on here. Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for romantasy authors and fans alike. So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right? Maybe, if you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you. Alright y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent? Or to put your hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose?
Shit.
Do you think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and you know that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an AirTag was tracking him, which showed on this person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they...
Holy fuck! Oh my sweet fuck, that is insane! And bear in mind, I will bet you that these same women that had no problem sexually assaulting a guy at this show, if it was to happen to them, they'd be screaming fucking rape just because someone tapped them on the shoulder. Okay, the double standard here is fucking disgusting. Reverse the genders in this scenario. Fucking reverse the genders. What do you think would happen if a woman was the one that was basically getting molested like this at this convention? if this had been done to a woman, literally, you take this convention, you swap the genders around, what do you think would fucking happen? The women would be screaming fucking rape. They'd be demanding that every single one of these men would be put in prison. The men would be doxxed, probably fucking arrested, and their lives fucking ruined by this. But because it's a woman that did it to a man, well, it's all fucking good, right? Fuck these greedy cock-gobbling cunts. Every fucking one of them should have been arrested. Every single fucking one of them should have been thrown in jail for this. Every fucking one of them should be arrested and charged. You bitches all want equality? Here's your fucking equality. You sexually assault a man, you go the fuck to jail. No excuses, no deviations. Fuck you.
To his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety. And then they put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention.
Well, Resin, if the cops wouldn't take it seriously, then get fucking IA on their asses and charge them too. If they're not going to do their job, then fucking get an IA investigation on them and civilly sue the police department for not doing the job. Like, I don't fucking care. Assault is assault. I don't give a fuck who does it. I don't give a fuck if it's a man that does it. I don't give a fuck if it's a woman that does it. And if the cop can't take his or her job seriously enough to take a complaint like that seriously and investigate it properly, then that cop needs to be out of the fucking job. I don't fucking care. That shit pisses me off. The double standard on this is fucking sickening. Absolutely sickening. And if a cop ever just kind of blows off a complaint from a man saying that a woman sexually assaulted him, and that cop blows off the case like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, that cop needs to lose their fucking badge. Maybe even get thrown in jail for dereliction. Maybe the police department needs to get sued, so they know that if a person goes to a police officer to make a criminal complaint, you take it fucking seriously.
Convention full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of roast beef. I remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically, It was a campaign to bring attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back, because these women did not get—
Okay, whoa, hold up. So it was all good to say cosplay is not consent and don't go groping women in cosplay. Big fucking campaign for that, right? Men cosplay and it's all fucking hands on deck, literally. And women can just do whatever the fuck they want. Which good for ye, but not for me? Fuck you.
Get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, before they either destroy you digitally or start playing with the chemistry sets. Yeah, you don't want to piss off the furries. They will ruin your life in so many fucking ways.
Not only were the men at this book talk convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author—
As a member of the furry community, I fully agree. We know our boundaries.
Indeed, Leo. Indeed. Although I did think that you were about to say something very different there. And Matthias, thank you for the follow.
There said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, my words did nothing. May I remind you, this is a book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for Evie magazine.
Oh god.
I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest.
And this is why, years ago, some of you may have heard about there was a thing going around years ago. It was, I think it might have been a YouTube video that was basically titled, "Don't Jerk Off the Sailor Moon." Any you guys ever hear, any of you ever heard of that YouTube video? It came out I think it's 10 years old at this point. Perhaps, I don't remember. There was, I believe it was a YouTube video that came out many years ago that it's titled, that the tagline for it was literally, "Don't Jerk Off the Sailor Moon." And basically what it was, this is back when, when anime, I think, had first come onto the scene, and Sailor Moon being the most popular in Western countries. So when Sailor Moon blew up, and, there was plenty of R34 style artwork going around with Sailor Moon, stuff like that. And it was basically this, by basically self-pleasuring to Sailor Moon, or any of the Sailor Scouts realistically, by doing that continuously, you're basically programming your brain so that you're only going to be able to get aroused by that type of imagery. It's basically the same concept. So this kind of thing, what this woman is saying, has been being said for years. And the earliest one the earliest or at least one I'm familiar with, was the video, "Don't Jerk Off the Sailor Moon."
Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image to spite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up. But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase. Is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy. Basically, they're cooked. Women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff. It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You start watching Shoe on Head, owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025, you're hailing Hitler, right? The alt-right pipeline. And this one's you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no.
I mean, yeah, Tornado, there's plenty, and that's why I said the content itself is no big issue. This person wants to write a sex book about fucking a minotaur, fine. We've seen plenty of that, particularly the monster girls. There's a hentai, the reviewers. There is literally a hentai series, I believe it's called The Reviewers, that the entire purpose of it is 4 adventurers in medieval time, that their whole thing, yes, interspecies reviewers, yeah, their whole thing is that they go around to different whorehouses in this medieval fantasy land, and fuck monster girls. It's full hentai, you're a dog. That's full hentai. They actually show sex. It's full hentai. And, like, yeah, like, so this is a thing. And Interspecies Reviewers, I'm pretty sure, is several years old. I want to say it's like 10 years old at this point, or more. So this kind of thing is not new. It's not new. Just say.
Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a 10-foot-tall dommy-mommy vampire with giant titties. Meanwhile, women are like, I want to f the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question.
Well, I mean, he was voiced by Tim Curry, and my God, does Tim Curry have a voice? That voice alone can just ripple down through the body and do all sorts of wonderful things.
Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc. Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc.
For fuck's sake.
The monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat—
Oh, for fuck's sake, the misandry. Here we go. Chat, buckle up. It's misandry overload time. Fuck me.
Woman of color. Modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic.
So that was a fucking lie.
There are plenty of fantasy romance novels of where the main protagonist is a non-white woman. There are plenty of them, so fuck right off with that fucking bullshit. Thank you very much.
And romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women / women of color. In monster alien romance, though, my size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it. I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus
no, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It means that you have a mental problem and should maybe seek professional help. If you're so misogynist that you're like, fuck all men, I want to fuck a fantasy creature that doesn't actually exist in reality, you need fucking help. You need to talk to someone about addressing these issues.
Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen. Unique genitalia. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women smut, especially—
Yes, Misandrous, yes, I do. No! Yeah, not yet. Oh god, I always—
But when we say this, Reddit nukes the subreddit.
No kidding, Revan.
Monster smut is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these—
And, okay, to that end, there are plenty. There is a veritable plethora of sex novels with human men behaving in the same way. There is absolutely zero shortage of smut novels out there that have the men being very dominant and making the woman feel submissive, but also taking care of the woman in a variety of ways outside of sexually. There is zero shortage of this. These women are just not at all cleverly disguising their man hatred and taking the I would rather be with a bear in the woods instead of a man to the next fucking level. No, not being the daddy grips, not even that. It's talking, I'm talking about like, the women are usually small, petite, and they can be spitfires, but they will be submissive to the big, strong man, and the big, strong man will be dominant over the woman, but he will also be loving and tender and caring. He's only dominant in just the right ways, so it's not abusive, it's just being assertive, shall we say. He takes control in the bedroom, and he takes, he's very assertive and dominant in taking care of her. Like, the earlier example in this video of paying for the check. But the woman can still be assertive herself. And it's like there are plenty of human smut stories like that don't require an inhuman component. They're just hating men. And so they're basically using the inhuman male characters as replacements for men and pretending like, oh, they're actually better than men. Because the reality is, the authors are still modeling them on men, just wrapping them in a different skin. Flat out. These are still male characters wrapped in an inhuman skin. You could have other than the varying cock shapes and sizes, you could take any of these stories, remove the inhumanity part of it, and largely it probably would still work with some obvious differences.
Women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is, many women still crave it. You see, the monsters in these stories have those dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man. They want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me in—
Gramps, what you're saying is that people that these kind of women would love to be accosted by Pyramid Head and ignoring the fact that he is an inhuman murder machine? Yes, because these women are like, I can fix him. He just doesn't know love. If he were to meet me, he'd know love and change his ways, and he would use that strength to deliciously dominate me in bed. That's it. This is literally just a broad, I can fix him, me. It's the I can fix him mentality en masse, basically.
Who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me. But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl in a wheelchair where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you wanna rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman and save her. This is basically the flip of that, right? This is just the distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are seeing this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you. And like I said in that video, They're basically both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor, whether the dragon be a wheelchair or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon, and the knight sits in the corner and watches or something, I don't know. Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better start.
What do you want to bet? There's actually a book, or at least a fan fiction short story out there that's exactly what you just said. Where the princess fucks the dragon while the knight sits in the cuck chair. I guarantee you there is at least a fan fiction of that out there somewhere. I will guarantee you.
Starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for Minotaur p***ness. Yeah, that's the moral of this video. So what do you guys think? What is your theory? Why is the monster romance genre so popular with women in particular? And who is your weirdest hear me out? Be honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny, okay? You all know mine already. It's not that he's a fish, okay? He has an energy, okay? He has a vibe. You know what, never mind. And I will see you guys again really soon with a new video. Bye!
Oh, God. Well, that was something.
They read it because admitting to liking it IRL will burst their toxic masculinity agenda.
Man is a progressive, by the way. He's a feminist. He voted for Hillary. He would have voted for Obama 3 times if he could.
Oh my God. The icing on the fucking cake. Oh dear God, the icing on the fucking cake. The Minotaur is a progressive. God damn it.